and welcome to the second episode of Reanimated Redemption, the review show where we take a poorly reviewed film, give it a rewatch, and tell you if it should be brought back to life or buried forever. So I'm your host, Jeremy, Scratch and Slash Media, and joining me yet again is Cody from Cody's House of Geek. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. We got a rough one today.
Rough one. Although I don't think it's as rough as our first one, Dr. Giggles. I don't think it's
Yeah,
that rough. There's some enjoyment here. But
there
with
is.
that being said, we are doing 1997 Spawn. Released 5 years prior to this film, Image Comics released Spawn by Todd McFarlane. So the film is about a mercenary named Al Simmons who is double crossed by his boss and murdered, sent to hell, and has to make a deal with the devil in order to return, but yet lead the devil's army. But another double cross could soon come from his new employer. So, pretty cool concept. The execution, however, is what I think that's what we're really going to talk about is just from how great the comics are to how they translated that to this. So, Cody, what is
Mm.
your initial impression of Spawn 97? I mean, you are holding the Arrow release version of it. So,
Okay, yeah, so I have a very nostalgic attachment to this movie. I grew up with it as a kid and I loved it as a kid. Having desperately wanting to get the 4K just to see how good it looks on 4K. I rewatched it and it has not aged well. It definitely has not aged well. There are some problems with it that I guess I let the rose tinted glasses kind of, get in the way a little bit. But, you know, yeah, it's definitely a product of its time, for sure.
yes. So, Al Simmons, who is played by Michael J. White, or Jai
Hmm.
White. I know I got that middle name wrong.
It's Gamble from The Dark Knight.
Exactly. And that is actually the only other comic book film he's ever done. I don't
Yep.
really have a problem with his casting. To me, he played Al Simmons well, even as Spawn. But what I find funny is he's come on the record and said that he does not like this film, and he will never say that he likes this film.
Hmm.
He hates how much they actually cut out of this movie to make it PG-13.
Which is why there's a director's cut of it.
But okay, so the director's cut literally adds what 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it still gives it an R rating according to this 4K because the theatrical cut is PG-13 and the director's cut is rated R. Um,
Which was what I
I,
got confused by because when I watched it this morning, there is a scene where I can remember him saying the F word. The first time I ever watched it, I can remember when he's falling off the building, he says the F word. And in the version I see, they changed that to shit.
did you watch the director's cut or the theatrical cut?
It told me I was watching the director's cut at 99 minutes, but to
Hmm.
me, I could not tell a difference between R and PG-13.
Yeah, that's a good point because I actually thought about this earlier. Is that it just doesn't feel like it actually bridges the gap between the two ratings. Like
No,
I've never been able to tell the difference. Um, hmm. Yeah, I guess that's not a warranted R rating for some reason. Maybe it's more violence. Uh, who knows?
which, if you've ever read Spawn comic or know who Spawn is, it's a very, very graphic novel. Every comic
Hmm.
is just completely gory. The subject matter of heaven and hell, innocent victims in between. To try to do something PG-13 to where everything is green blood is that really took me out of it because he should have been. To me, the Spawn is Punisher if he went to hell and came back. That's what.
Yeah, it would be kind of like taking Deadpool and completely muting him and making him a PG-13
Yeah,
character. Like it doesn't seem right to take these hardcore comic book characters that have been grounded because of their violence and how good they are in the comics and just appealing to children because it was easy to do that. They did that with the Mask in '94 as well because the Mask is also that violent. It just
yeah.
that movie just got lucky actually appealing to people. um,
But I think
but
that's what horror movies suffer from in the '90s is that
mhm,
studio style PG-13 got more asses and seats. Well,
mhm.
we live in a time where if it's rated R, you got a hit. So
Well,
I like that flip we're living in right now.
right. Well, I mean, as an ex movie theater employee, as many times as I've had to see when there was a horror movie, no matter what it was, people were always trying to get in to see a R-rated, horror film. It didn't matter. Strangers Chapter One or Chapter Two, no matter how crappy those movies were, people came to see those movies. You know, but yeah, it seems like a lot of days now, they're taking a lot bigger risks with the horror genre and stuff. So I would hope, there's talks of a reboot of this movie. I'd hope that they would keep it R-rated.
So to me, there are two things about this film that just are so good. These two things and keep it from being like terrible to me. The suit design,
Beautiful suit.
it's beautiful suit. Every time the camera got close on this, I loved it. This is comic accurate. When his belt comes down and bites the woman's leg,
Maybe that's why it was R-rated.
like
It's a crotch belt.
that, that was fun. That was accurate. I didn't enjoy how quick he learned the habits of his suit. I wish we had more of a Spider-Man trial and error, but
Yeah,
I still enjoyed this concept.
I think it's
Um,
just like the thing is that since you're bringing that up, the mentor character, which I forgot his name to be honest with you, you know,
uh, the actor, I got the actor's name, Nikolai Williamson, and I wrote that down because this was actually his final film before he passed away.
really, wow.
Yeah,
Um, well, the I guess the training montage and everything, how rushed it was, yeah, like him just essentially race Skywalkering and getting the getting all the powers and stuff and learning to do this over like 5 minutes is just yeah. It felt extremely rushed for sure.
and the second thing that I absolutely love, you have the clown, the Violator, played by legendary John Leguizamo. So I don't know how
Luigi
you
Mario.
I don't know how you feel about Leguizamo, but I'm a huge fan of his. I think every movie benefits from him,
I
and the
mean,
way
hell, I
he
mean,
played this,
yeah, I mean, even recently, he was in the John Wick movies. I mean, he does some pretty good stuff. I mean, I don't have a problem with him per se as an actor. He's a really good actor, and he really does know how to like, uh, I guess transition from these different parts. Like, who would think that that's John Leguizamo? Yeah,
right?
he's such a really weird, like all heavy makeup and a fat suit, but I think a lot of people just don't take him seriously because well, again, I hate to bring it up, but he brought up, he played Luigi.
Yeah,
So,
but he
but he
also
is a good
did
actor.
he also did a film really early on in his career called The Pest, and
Yeah,
every bit of his mannerisms and the way he acts in this is from that film before. That's
lest we, sorry,
his
go ahead.
comedy routine.
Lest we forget, he was also in the Romeo and Juliet movie with DiCaprio.
DiCaprio and Jamie Kennedy, yeah.
Yep. Um, Yeah, no, his performance as the clown, man, I could say this much. Having thought about it, this movie came out in '97, so this is long after like John Wayne Gacy and Pennywise about 7 years later, 10 years later, after those two, the Joker and stuff like that. The dude literally took inspiration from all three of those guys. I can already tell. He's got the sharp pointed teeth and every time someone farts and a demon gets his wings mannerism. He does really good. You can't even tell that that's him. It's just so it might be the standout role in this movie, honestly.
It really is. And there's some fun facts about him in that suit. So it took 2.5 hours to apply that makeup every day. At one point, he had to pee himself because it took an hour to take everything off. And every single scene that he's in, he is squatting in that suit.
So
Fully
okay,
squat.
so he's not that short. Obviously, I was
No,
wondering how they did that.
no, he's like 6 foot. So he had to squat and hunch over for every single scene he was in and waddle at the same time.
Wow. I legit thought they just like did some sort of movie magic. He literally was on his knees.
On his knees for every scene.
That's crazy.
So, but the dynamic between the clown and Spawn, I enjoyed it. I just wish there was way more of it. There should have been more of a build to why he's so much against the clown.
Which is, that's the thing, is I think it has script issues. I think they took from the comic story and they just cut out a lot of stuff just to save, the runtime. And again, a movie like this, I feel like, again, if they do remake it, it needs to probably be like 2.5 hours long.
Yes.
Because it doesn't do itself justice when you take away all this context that leads up to, no matter how violent it is, he is called the Violator. You got to give him his title by doing the things he's supposed to do. Um, but yeah, they didn't give him enough time to build on that character, even though I feel like he would have been perfect.
Yeah. And the other cast member that I think pretty much everybody knows who this individual is. It doesn't matter if it's horror, comics, drama, comedy. Martin Sheen
As a villain.
as a villain, as the most over the top, evil laugh, ma ha 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 villain you could have.
He's like a R-rated version of Carl Zichter from VR Troopers.
Oh my god, yes.
down to the scorpions in the cigarette bowl.
To me, I was like, this is what happens if Lex Luthor went completely 100% evil.
My lord. It's so cliche and ridiculous. And the thing is that Martin Sheen said the reason why he did this is because I think it was like his grandchildren or somebody, like some children
Yeah,
in his life, were saying that they knew what Spawn was and they convinced him to do it. And um this
yeah.
role
He
did not suit him.
he watched his grandkids talked him into it, but the only superhero film that I think he has seen was Superman, and that really is what he wanted to do, a comic book movie. And sadly, well, no, he did the Amazing Spider-Man as
Yeah, I
Uncle
was gonna say
Ben.
he redeemed himself by getting shot.
Yeah, he was a convincing Uncle Ben. I'll give him that.
He was. I actually did like him.
But this is just he's just over the top. He he's just like you said, he's too cliche.
Yep. Um, I didn't like him as a villain, and also it's just the only thing that was really threatening about him was just the fact he owned a business that can actually come up with all this technology, include
Nanotechnology. Yeah.
yeah. Not only that, a pacemaker that can sync up with all the world's nuclear warheads.
Also, you're gonna do open heart surgery and not give any anesthesia. Just you're gonna feel a slight pinch. You're opening his chest.
It's yeah.
And then even at the end, when Spawn uses his laser vision to open him up and remove it, he doesn't flinch. Like it's just not painful, I guess.
Yeah. I will say, like, every time I see a surgical scene, especially when it comes to superhero movies, I think about Blonsky from The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. That scene where he gets that giant needle put in his back and you hear that snapping noise. That is what we should have had in this movie with him if
Yes.
we needed to get that across. Because I still cringe at that scene.
And his assistant, watching it this morning, I guess I need to revoke my horror nerd card because his assistant Jessica
Uh huh.
is the main girl in Return to Living Dead 3. She's the one on the poster with everything stabbing out of her.
Oh,
I was
really?
I didn't I saw her and I was like, oh my god, I've met that woman and I did not put two and two together.
Wow.
Which she's pretty much playing the leather latex version of that in this.
Yeah, she's completely doused in skin tight leather in this movie.
But
She-
the funniest scene in this film is when she gets shot in the head and she's on the gurney and they're like, what's wrong with her? What do you mean what's wrong with her? She's got shot in the head. And the paramedics does the pulse and goes, yeah, she's dead. No shit. She got shot in the head.
it's so stupid.
Why did we check for a pulse? There's a gaping hole.
Uh, Just you know what? Scary Movie 3 had less subtlety when Pamela Anderson went up and just go, "Are you okay?" and the head falls off. Are you okay?
That was more believable than this.
It was. I just don't.
Um,
I don't get this movie sometimes.
so into the actual movie itself, like framing. The opening of this film, I swear to you, I thought, am I watching Spawn or am I watching the opening to the Angelina Jolie film Hackers? The music, the
Yeah,
transitions, like the transitions in this film are something else.
they are. They're quick flashes with that like really weird like I don't know, like that really weird like bell noise that happens. Like they did it
Yes.
in the trailers for Independence Day. They did that same transition in the trailers. Um yeah, and the are you talking about the hell transition when it's traveling to hell with the little tornado of fire?
Yeah, and anytime they go from scene to scene, sometimes they're like, let's throw in a little flaming red cape in the corner to transition it. And I'm like,
George Lucas had less subtlety with his wipes and
it's
stuff.
yeah.
Oh man.
um, so as I was watching this film, I really thought, you know what would be a cool idea? Spawn versus Freddy Krueger.
You know what? How would that work though? It's just like you got a dream, someone who's a hell demon, a hell spawn, who doesn't sleep, versus a monster who thrives in the dream world, though.
And that means Spawn would have to go into the dream world or go into a hell dimension and fight him.
Natalie, stop. Yeah.
Also, when Al is in hell and they reveal him full frontal, we're just supposed to believe that Spawn is a Ken doll.
Yep. Apparently.
So we're gonna burn his dick off and not we're not gonna talk about that. Okay.
Stop. Sorry, my animals are acting weird. They don't like that we're talking about anatomically correct Ken doll. Stop. Go get water.
But the majority of this film, when it wasn't like humans interacting with humans, when they were trying to do CGI and all that, like I just got this is probably the worst example.
Mount Bolgia. Ah! God. So horrible. It looks like a sock puppet.
The sock puppet with like these chainsaw ears. Doesn't
At
even
least it's voiced by someone recognizable. It's Dr.
recognize.
Claw.
Mm-hmm,
It's Dr. Claw.
recognizable, but just these are just terrible.
They look so much worse on 4K. I'm just letting you guys know, not to shit on this movie's the ability to make this movie look good, because it does look good in 4K in certain areas, but there's no redeeming quality.
No. And like we were talking about earlier, pretty much every scene that involves CGI was like, this is a PS1 Mortal Kombat cutscene.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because the same company, New Line Cinema, did the Mortal Kombat movie, and they used the same CGI for Reptile. It's like this 95 to 97 era of film from New Line. Their CGI was just garbage.
Maybe it was what they could afford. I mean, the budget of
They
this
were an
film,
independent company too, so I guess.
I mean, like we talked about earlier, the budget of this film was initially 20 million, but CGI and all that brought it up to 40 million.
That was another
And
20 million worth of CGI, and it looked like that. Oh
that
God.
Sony could have probably done for half the price.
I feel like Industrial Light and Magic. What were they working on at the time in '97? Like Toy
97.
Story just came out. They were working on The Lost World, Jurassic Park. So they could have probably done so much better.
Oh yeah.
If you're gonna make your CGI character look like a Muppet, at least get Jim Henson's Creature Shop to actually make a real Muppet.
Well,
Like,
that's the other thing is that the the Violator when he's in full form,
he
they
looked
initially
fine.
they initially built a huge puppet to
They
control for
used it
every
and
scene.
they used it to an extent. They did. You
Yeah,
could
when it's
see that.
close up shots and stuff,
Yeah.
but like they built it full scale and only used it for two scenes and then everything else CGI. Like if it's operational, why not get your money's worth?
Well, it's apparently because I watched obviously Arrow loves to do new bonus features and stuff like that for like breakdowns on special effects. And the special effects supervisor, when they were talking about it's actually the same guy, believe it or not. Uh, his name was Spaz, which is why they named the dog Spaz or whatever in the movie. Um, he did the mask effects. I think he also did Mortal Kombat. So when he was talking about, oh, all these CGI scenes in comparison to practical, it's because he's sitting there charging through an alleyway and stuff like that. Those scenes where it's like they're not close up shots, they have to be CGI rendered. So
Okay.
yeah, he was
Um,
just like it's the limitations at the time were prominent.
but that's the other thing, we come on here and we take a movie that was poorly received, and over time it has been poorly received. However, it made $87 million.
How did it stack up against Batman and Robin actually in comparison to the box office?
Box office, I'm gonna look that up right now.
Because I think I don't remember if this movie came out before or after Batman and Robin, but there were three big movies that came out that year. The Lost World, Jurassic Park was one of them, and I'm pretty sure that came out in like July or May or June. I think it was May, whenever Memorial Day was. I think it's May. Um,
Yeah, Batman and Robin was made for a budget of 125 million.
ew.
Worldwide, worldwide, it made 238 million.
So it was a box office success,
It
sort
made
of.
its money back. Technically, it is. I mean, if you just want to count the U.S., it made 107 million.
Huh.
So technically, Batman and Robin was a hit. Technically, Spawn was a hit.
Spawn was too?
Spawn was made for 40 million and brought in worldwide 87 million, with
Made double it.
half of the marketing budget of Batman and Robin.
So this was low on the totem pole in the box office, though.
Yeah.
Wow. I
But
know Lost World, Jurassic Park, and Titanic were the top movies of that year.
Titanic was like number one for '97, and probably going into '98, going when it was released.
Yeah, there was no way in hell this movie was going to get any kind of recognition in the box office.
But I don't think in '97, like I remember '97 very well. I think that was one of the best years for film. I don't think anyone thought Titanic was going to do what it did.
Well, I mean, we're even though we're veering off course real quick about this, because that movie is considered a standard for success stories. It's like the
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg Jaws of our time, where Titanic was actually over budget and they had no faith in that movie, and James Cameron proved them wrong. So, you know, that being the biggest movie of the year, it's no surprise that it buried something like this in the damn dirt. I still can't remember what else came out in '97. I feel so useless in movie knowledge right now. If I had a way to
97.
look up, I wanted to look up the box office, the top 5 movies that year.
Well, Scream 7. I mean, not Scream 7. Scream 2 came out in '97,
It did.
and it made double what Scream did. And man, that's a good question. Okay, we're really off course, but now I need to know.
Yeah, we veer off course in conversations all the time, even when we're not on camera.
Yeah.
Just think of us like that dog from Up.
Squirrel.
It's just, yep, we're just completely caught off guard by other things in the process of we're in the middle of a conversation.
Oh, okay. Okay, here's a little tease for you guys right now. So Saturday, I'm doing another episode, and not in 1997, An American Werewolf in Paris was released.
Well, hey, we're connecting it
We're
unintentionally.
connecting. I know what you did last summer.
Your first
Event,
one?
the first one, Event Horizon. Um, I don't know why it's only pulling up horror for me. Devil's Advocate, Fifth Element.
Mm-hmm. Good Burger.
Um,
I forgot that came out in '97.
Good Burger, Anaconda, Vegas Vacation, but biggest hits of 1997 movies. Oh my God, dude. So in 1997, you had Titanic, Good Will Hunting,
Oh,
Men in
wow.
Black,
Wow.
Boogie Nights, Face Off, As Good as It Gets, LA Confidential, Hercules, Jackie Brown, Fifth Element, The Lost World, Air Force One, Liar Liar, Con Air, Batman and Robin, My Best Friend's Wedding, The Full Monty. Like, see why I say '97 was one of the
Okay,
best years.
this is where I wanted to get to this point. When he mentions all those movies, there's no way in hell Spawn was going to
Didn't stand
succeed
a
at the box
chance.
office.
Didn't stand a chance.
There's just no way in hell.
Which is another good question. By the point in '97 that Spawn was released, the comic had only been around for 5 years.
Which is a great successful story for a lot of comic book movies and stuff like that. When Turtles came out in 1990, it was only like 5 or 6 years old. You know,
Yeah,
so I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, hell, The Mask as well. That came out in '94. I think that movie came, or that the comic came out like 8 years prior, something like that.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, just the popularity of things, kind of helped drive it. I'm kind of surprised that this a live action adaptation had enough, groundwork at New Line, but New Line was taking any properties they could at the time.
Anything,
Yep,
anything. Because they had just ended
the Elm
their
Street movies.
Elm Street. That was their biggest buy,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't even that great.
Mm-mm.
Um, Here's another fun fact. Edward Norton was initially supposed to play Al's best friend, Terry.
I love how he's
Signed
come out
on.
up twice today.
Signed on and everything, but turned it down at the last minute so he could do the film Rounders.
Really?
Will
Good job.
Smith. Will Smith was the first choice to play Al. He turned it down to do Men in Black.
Again, good job, Will. You still did Wild Wild West, though. Can't forgive you for
We
that.
can't. That's not forgivable. That's probably a future episode, and I know I'm gonna hate going back on that film.
See, that's the reason why he slapped. Uh,
I'm still angry about this. Now,
you
this is a short list of people that were contacted first before they ever got to Michael Watt. Wesley Snipes, Cuba Gooding Jr., Snoop Dogg, Tony Todd, Denzel Washington, Samuel L. Jackson, Vin Rames, Tupac, and LL Cool J were all contacted before Michael.
I will tell you this much. If they were to get Snoop Dogg to do it, at least they wouldn't have to do visual effects because that green smoke would be following him naturally.
Yes,
The weed he's
like
smoking.
you could so tell in this film they had a smoke machine in every single scene, just right off camera.
Yeah.
Um, it would have been fun to have Snoop Dogg do it. I think I love one of the only horror film he's ever done, Bones, where he plays a vampire. I
Yeah.
actually thought he did a good job. He didn't act like himself. He acted like a villain.
Yep.
But can you imagine in a world Spawn 97 starring Tupac Shakur?
Maybe he wouldn't have died if this movie actually came out. That could be the bridge gap right there. You know how they say there's a parallel universe where things are different and the outcome changes? If he were to have done Spawn, I guarantee you that man's still alive singing today in another universe.
Somehow on set it ends up being like The Crow. He's accidentally
Yeah.
gunned down. Like he can't
Jesus.
escape his fate.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's like the final destination for movie actors.
Now the biggest plot hole I have with this film. So in the final act, when Spawn and Nikolai are teaming up, they go to hell, they do their battle. Okay. When we leave the humans, his wife is tied up, his
Hmm.
wife's new husband and their daughter are tied up, and Michael Sheen is on the ground.
Hmm.
When they return back from hell, everyone's untied and the new husband has the gun. So, what happened? Like, are we supposed to believe that Michael Sheen's character untied them and gave them the weapon?
So you were talking about earlier before we started this that there was apparently a point where Michael Jai White said he hated this movie because they cut a lot out of it. That could be there's probably a 4 minute like sequence explaining that somehow. Like I just feel like there is more footage throughout this movie that's just lost to time,
Lost of time, yeah. It's probably a 2.5 hour cut that was reduced down to an hour and a half.
which sucks because Arrow Video probably a movie like this isn't going to be archived. Let's be honest.
No.
So if they were to pull anything for this movie, deleted scenes or anything like that would have been amazing. But turns out there are no deleted scenes in these bonus features, which sucks. Um,
How about the little kid? Rewatching it this morning, I was like, "Holy crap! That's the kid from New Nightmare."
it is. Yeah, Miko Hughes. He's also the
Nico
kid that
Hughes.
plays Gage
Yeah,
in Pet
I,
Cemetery. Yep.
I had him sign a pop of Gage, but again, that's another one. When I met them, I was like, I don't know why I didn't put it together. But that poor kid's father.
Yeah.
First, first Spawn throws him through some boxes, and then the very next night, the Vindicator picks him up and shakes him to like baby syndrome level, to where he has to go to the hospital. It's like this guy has learned his lesson.
Yeah, I was gonna say to be fair, he was beating his kid.
He was beating his kid, but I think he learned his lesson. He got his ass whooped 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, there's literally no deleted scenes on this damn thing. That's crazy.
So we need a Snyder's Cut release.
Guys, after we're done getting Batman Forever, the Schumacher cut, we need to start doing the McFarlane cut of this movie. You hear me? Start doing hashtags. We need these plot holes fixed.
Yes. Because there's a very rich story to be told here. It's just the way they tried to do it the first time around and cramp everything down, PG-13 out the gate. To me, that's what ruins this film for me. No,
Yep.
if you don't know the source material, maybe it's better for you, but we do, and it's like, not great.
To be fair, though, at the end of the day, what they wanted out of this movie, they got. Because someone like me, who was able to read the comic books as a kid and read them later as a teenager, because I watched this movie, they were appealing this movie to children. And that's all superhero movies were good for at the time. They were not taken seriously. There was less effort put into them. And I'm going to give them credit for doing something that was a little bit enticing to me as a child. But I agree that, just completely alienating an existing fan base just to appeal to children,
Right.
bad move.
I mean, I completely agree on that. Now, if this, because it's been in development hell since '98. If we do get a Spawn film, what do you want to see done? Number one.
Um, Obviously, I would like to be able to see. We've had many movies as of recently where they've just jumped headfirst and just like, hey, let's make it R-rated. Deadpool's a prime example. We can do something similar to that for this movie, but it's obviously a lot darker, a lot more brooding. And I would like to see a good cast, a good director. Hell, who would you get to direct something like this? Like, think about it real quick. Something this, I guess, monochromatic and flashy and colorful in some ways. I would love to see a
Absolutely.
good director.
Who was it that directed that Nicolas Cage film, Mandy?
I don't remember.
The way he did that film, but I want to say like Freddy Alvarez from the Evil Dead remake,
Mm-hmm.
something big budget like that. It seems up his alley. With like, let's be honest, the Spawn comics were torture porn at times. So
That's what I was going to say. What I want from this is a horror element.
yes,
That is what I want from a new Spawn movie. Though it is grounded in a comic book and it is technically a superhero movie. If you were to do a horror film and you just go batshit crazy with it, there is nothing that is going to keep people from going to see this movie if you do it correctly. The studios need to pay attention to what the fans want. Don't use this as a guideline because this is, yeah, it could
yeah,
be a success story. I mean, while I still really enjoy the original Mortal Kombat movie, there are some things that movie did as when I was younger that the reason I even got to watch that movie is because it was a PG-13 film with nobody getting their heads ripped out of their head or out of their shoulders. Um, the newer movie did it right, but unfortunately, it didn't appeal to people because it didn't feel like a Mortal Kombat film to them. Um, it felt like a cash grab. It felt really easy to do. Don't do that with this, but make it a horror movie. That is what you guys need to do.
I would say invest at least 20 to 25 minutes of your runtime to building the character of Al, build the relationship to his wife, because I didn't care about his wife in this.
And she
There
was the
wasn't enough.
damsel in distress.
And she never once realized that's her husband, addressed it, said anything about it.
Nope.
Like, invest more in that.
Yep. Like they try to play it off like, oh, Al doesn't want her to know, but the people who do know are his best friend, who was CIA operative to Martin Sheen's character. Martin Sheen found out that it was Al. Everybody knew except Wanda.
And there's no way. There's no way she didn't.
But there was nothing that led into the idea that that was him. Like, it's so stupid.
Like Castaway does a better job in its third act.
I got another
What
question
this
for you,
premise.
actually, because I've never heard of the director of this movie. His name's Mark A.Z. Dippe. Dippe, I guess. I've never heard of him before. I'm curious about his filmography as a director because, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if this is his only movie he ever did.
Oh, buddy, you're gonna be surprised.
Really?
See if I can put it. No. So he's a visual effects guy.
That makes
He's
sense.
done the visual effects for The Shallows, Paranormal Activity franchise, The Flintstones. He was a co-visual effects supervisor for Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park.
What?
Yep. Back to the Future 2 and The Abyss. He has a new film that he's directing coming out called Watch Them Die. So after Spawn, he directed Halloween Town. And then he did 3 animated Garfield movies.
You know what? The thing is as much as I love Halloween Town, it's so fitting for him to go from doing a budgeted film for the theatrical release to a Disney Channel movie made for TV, and then after that didn't work out for him, he just did Garfield animation. That's
This one makes me giggle. So Michael Jackson did a horror special one Halloween called Michael Jackson's Halloween, where he
uh-huh.
played the villain and himself. He directed that. And I've
Bro,
watched that. I've watched that a couple of times. Like
bro.
that's he hasn't had anything like big. This was his biggest project as a director.
That's what he'd probably be best known for.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I'm even surprised that Arrow even did a premium 4K release for this movie. And you know, I brought it up to him earlier. It it has no business looking as good as it does, but also it has no business trying to like spit shine the CGI that
Right.
sucks at this thing. It looks so polished, and they did as best they could. But good lord,
This deserves the George Lucas visual effects rendering. It
yes,
would benefit from that. So at
it's
the end of the day, when it comes to this film, do you think it should be brought back to life or buried forever?
I do see there is potential for a another attempt at bringing this franchise to light because we talked about how when's the last time we've heard about Spawn? It's kind of stuck in its own era, which is 90s early 2000s. And I personally feel like if it's done right and if it's done in a way where people can actually, you know, be excited about it, I do think it should come back. I do think that there should be some love and attention put into it, and Todd McFarlane needs to be a little bit more outspoken for the thing that he created. Um, yeah, I do think that it could potentially be better.
And I think it should be brought back to life too. There's no reason this film shouldn't be remade. There's an audience out there, especially for R-rated superheroes now.
Mm-hmm.
There's an audience out there more now than ever in the mainstream of horror to do a horror superhero movie. I mean, even if you were to remake something like Constantine right now, it would be a massive hit on a low budget.
Guys, they're remaking Anaconda with Jack Black and Paul Rudd, and people are wanting to see it. I think there's an easy mark here.
Right now, horror is the avenue to go down, and superheroes are kind of fizzling out. Bring it all to fruition with a horror superhero film. Do it
Create
with
a
the
whole
right
new genre.
cast, whole new genre, but do it with the right cast and take your time with it. Like, it's okay if it's 2 hours. It's okay if it's 2.5 hours. You can make that work.
I'm not watching it if Danny DeVito is not the clown.
At 80 years old.
I think he could pull it off. He doesn't need to ride on his knees to be that short.
Very true. Very true. But if at the end of the day we never get another Spawn film, I would recommend people watch this. I was like, go into it with an open mind. No, it's not. It's a product of its era.
I look at
But
it as like 90s history.
yeah, this is where we came from. This is at the time as good as you could get. So on a budget at least. So I would still recommend this film for people to watch. Not so much horror fans.
Just also remember the same year that Batman and Robin came out, this movie was trying to take itself way more seriously than Batman and Robin did.
And it
And
couldn't have.
yeah, yeah.
All
Wow.
right, guys, we're almost an hour in. I think we've broke this film down as much as we can. It's definitely a recommend, and it's definitely a recommend to be remade for people out there.
At
But
the very least, it's a single watch in your lifetime.
yes, you need to know.
Yeah.
But Cody, you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Cody's House of Geek on YouTube. I do a bunch of nostalgia stuff, and I also have a Facebook page called Growing Up in the 90s. It's all about the 90s every day.
All right. And I'm Jeremy. You know where you can find us. Check out our videos. Saturday, we're going to be coming out with a new video with a very special guest talking about American Werewolf in Paris. But until then, Cody, you got anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, watching us. Like, comment, subscribe, both of our channels, Scratch and Slash Media, Cody's House of Geek. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you around.
See ya.